Hey guys, it's Audra and welcome back to my channel. It's been about 3 months since I posted anything. I did my Reading Rush TBR and then that flopped. I don't even think I finished one book. So I coursed into a vlog and then just turned into crickets over here. I think the school year started. I got much more into my dragon boat team with practicing 2 times a week on the lake. And I just didn't do Booktube anymore. I didn't watch Booktube, but Nonfiction November has kind of been in the back of my mind for months and wanting to do this. So we'll see how this goes. It may be successful, it may flop, but I really have enjoyed picking out a nonfiction book and finding a fiction book to pair with it. So I'm going to try that route. Other than that, new things, nothing much. I met my 3 year since being diagnosed with breast cancer in October. So I guess I'm like 2.5 years since treatment was deemed successful with no evidence of disease. So that's a big deal. My ultimate goal will be to get to 5 years because then your chances of reoccurrence drops drastically. And then, yeah, just living life, trying to enjoy most of it, which goes into my first book on my TBR. So let's just get into those. So all these challenges comes from Olive, from Book Olive. She creates the challenges, and I love how she picks 4 words, and you get to do whatever you want with them, which is great for trying to get back into this and seeing how it goes. And the first word is design. And so for that book, I picked this book called Joyful that I picked up at the airport on my way back from a kayaking trip in Oregon with a whole bunch of other cancer survivors. First that peeked out was this confetti stuff that's actually 3-dimensional, you can feel it. Then it was the subtitle, The Surprising Power of Ordinary Things to Create Extraordinary Happiness. What more could you want of life? I'm starting to figure that out, especially after cancer, how important the little things are. I don't know why it's taken me so long, but I am doing more and more things that are adventurous and outside of my comfort zone, and then paying attention to the small moments. So I love this book. But then the design piece comes into play when I saw the naked cover. It is confetti. It is beautiful. It looks so fun. It looks so happy. And so I'm excited to pick this for my design book for Nonfiction November. And so I said I want to pick a fiction book to go with each one of these, at least one. And my fiction book is one that brings me joy because it is a reread, and it is called 29 by Adina Halpern. This is a comedy for the most part about a family, and it's 3 generations of women whose lives turn upside down when they accidentally switch bodies, and it's hysterical. It reminds me a lot of my grandmother and and I just can't wait to reread this and just have some good laughs, and it will go perfectly. I mean, the colors even go perfectly together for that one. The second challenge is sport. This might be a little bit too much off the path, or I don't even know. But my sport, I guess, will be the axe throwing. That's somehow taken off as a thing to do with your friends, especially in this area. And I'm going to go with the Borden murders, Lizzie Borden and the Trial of the Century. This is a YA book about Lizzie Borden and the death of her parents. I decided on this one after listening to the Crime Junkie podcast retelling of it. And so with that, I don't know that I'm going to do a fiction book. There are several options that I have on hold from the library. They aren't in yet. But for my pairing, I may just listen to more Crime Junkie podcasts because I am just binging my way through all of them in the last couple weeks. And so I want to listen to more, and that will be my pairing probably for this, just because it does take up a lot of time, and I've gotten away from also listening to audiobooks. So that's a change as well in the last 3 months. So we'll see how that goes. The third challenge is true. I have a lot of World War II fiction books and some nonfiction books. So I chose this one, Escaping the Nazis on the Kindertransport. And it is actually, I think, a middle grade nonfiction book about the Kindertransport. So when families sent their children to the United States or Canada for safety, reasons during World War II, when Hitler was taking over Europe, obviously. And so that I cannot even imagine. It's just devastating to think about, like having to send your child completely by themselves overseas just to keep them alive at that point. So I have a couple options for my fiction book, and one I've had forever is It Night or Day? It's a middle grade fiction book as well. My other option would be a fiction book that just came out, and that's The Last Train to London. So again, they're pretty much like exactly same topic with kinder transport, but one's for kids, one's for adults. So we'll see what I have time for. And the fourth challenge is voice, and for that I'm going with Rising Strong by Brene Brown. I have lost count of how many times Brene Brown's work has been recommended to me, so I'm finally going to pick one up. And from what I can tell, this is all about voice, finding your voice to tell your story and being brave to tell it. Obviously, with my introduction of talking about breast cancer, I've got a lot of stuff that I could turn into sharing my story with. I have a lot of people that have told me I should write a book, because not only have I gone through breast cancer with chemo and treatments and all that kind of stuff, I have also been through the trauma and the grief of finding and losing my little brother in 2012. And so my fiction books are going to go along with that. I'm trying to read some things that kind of get me in the mindset of getting to those hard places I don't really want to talk about but need to. And so I'm going to force myself to read The Names They Gave Us by Emery Lord. This one I've been wanting to read because it's about a girl going to church camp and then also dealing with her mother's reoccurrence of breast cancer, which is obviously scary, but I can relate to those characters. And then this one as well, Losing Hope by Colleen Hoover. I read the first one that was like hopeless or whatever back when my brother first passed away, and then this is the viewpoint of another character in the story. And when he got to the part of finding his sister dead, it was extremely too close to home, too soon, and so I put it down. Like, you can see where I left it. And so I'm going to try this out to see if that kind of gets me in a place where I'm able to start writing my story and following Rising Strong's advice along the way. And to kind of go along with that, I do have some other books I would like to get to throughout the month of November that are nonfiction books. And the first one to go with the last set of books is Radical, The Science, Culture, and History of Breast Cancer in America. And so I believe that it is actually a survivor that tells a story, who's a reporter, and it's obviously the history, but then also kind of like breast cancer as an industry and as a survivorship fellowship of women. I think it touches on a lot of different things, so I wanted to read as much as possible of that one. And then I need to finish Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes, which I started last month. And she's the creator of Grey's Anatomy and Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder. But it's just how she says yes for a year, and I've been doing the same thing this year. And then I also would like to hopefully get to The Path Back to You, I think. It is a book that some friends recommended to me as I'm getting more into the Enneagram and figuring out like which one I relate to the most. And they said that book is very helpful. They also gave me some podcasts to go along with that. And then to jump back to the Crime Junkie podcast, in some of their episodes, they reference books that give more information about cases. And so 2 of those books are Lost Girls, and I think it's called House from Hell, that I have from the library. And I'll see if I enjoy more true crime fiction. I haven't read anything since the Golden State Killer book that came out. So we'll see how that goes. It may be a little bit too much as well, but I'm excited to do a lot of nonfiction reading. I don't know at this point if I'm going to vlog or what's going to happen. I'd like to do a little bit along the way because I have some things coming up that aren't in my normal realm of life. I'm going to my first ever National Librarian Conference for the AASL, so American Association of School Librarians. And from what I've gathered, it's kind of one of those situations they give out a whole bunch of ARCs. And like they encourage you to bring an extra suitcase or whatever. But I'm excited to see what's coming out for our kids to have their hands on as well. But until then, I have a book I need to finish tonight so I can get started with Nonfiction November tomorrow. Please leave me your information for your TBR down below, as well as if you have any podcast recommendations, because when I run out of Crime Junkie, I'm going to need something. I've heard about Serial. I'm going to listen to that one next probably. But tell me your thoughts down below. And until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.